Hello, and a really warm welcome to you, and indeed to the channel. Now, if you've not seen my channel before, I like to upload videos about vintage model railway items, also sometimes steam engines, but mainly items made by Wren, Hornby Dublo, Hornby and Triang. Now, I've been away for a while, so I've got a lot to catch up on, and the idea is we'll just have a short video today, go over a few things that that are going to be coming up soon, and then at the end of the video we'll run a train set. And because I'm not in my workshop, if no one's around, hopefully I'll get it down on the kitchen table. Now, this little pannier, the homemade brush, or the reconditioned brush, because I copper plated some carbon and soldered it to the original arm, seems to be holding up well, and that's why I've got it back down here in this workshop, because I'm not able to run much on the railway at the moment. So I just thought occasionally I'll put it on, give it half an hour's running, and just continue to see whether the homemade brush is a viable modification, and so far it seems to be running really well. Okay, well, since I've been away, I've been lucky enough to get hold of a few items. I've been to a couple of bric-a-brac places. I went to the TCS show at the start of November, which was great, and I was pleased to say hello to a couple of viewers there and meet up with some people. But I've got a couple of items from the TCS. I've got some items that I've also collected over the last couple of months. I've got some other bits and bobs as well which aren't here, but I'm going to feature these in upcoming videos, and hopefully we'll have some fun looking at them together. Now, this controller, this is something else that came to me quite recently. I was very lucky to be given this by David Atkins, who came over from Canada, and it's not alone. He bought me two non-functioning versions of this controller, because David knows I love to mend things. So a great gift for the channel, and already I've got a bit of life out of it. Now, I am going to do a separate video, I think, on these controllers, and we'll test them on the main layout. But briefly, they were totally not working, and a bit of investigation showed that the main problem was a small relay. Now, I've destroyed this original item, trying to open it to see what it was like inside, because it's just so small. The contacts in this relay are somewhere under that white or clear plastic, but the data sheet I found briefly, and I need to do more research, suggests it might only be rated for, I don't know, 500 milliamps, which is not enough. And I think that's why they've both burnt out. Now, what I've done is I've just soldered the output wires away onto the circuit board in a different place, so you'll notice there's no change of direction. But these are going to be great fun. They've got a programmable chip inside them, so we can have fun with momentum and brakes, and I think they're very reminiscent of the Hornby H&M 4000. This one did have an additional problem. I'll talk about that more in the upcoming video, but here's the old favourite, the output transistor, the MOSFET, that was cooked. I've got a few of those knocking around, so I popped in another, and look at this, a really great responsive controller. So yeah, lots of fun to be had with that. And once I track down some uprated relays, I'll probably show a bit of a repair video. Now, the reason I've got this big box next to it, of course, is if you see, look here, output 110, 120. Well, of course, being Canadian, we can't plug this into our mains. I need a drop down, and this is something I've used when I used to repair 110 volt hi-fi items, just to give me a good supply of 110 volts. Now, I do have a bigger, more industrial transformer up in the workshop, but this is great because it fits on the bench. Okay, I think I'm just going to turn that down now. So, talking about more upcoming videos, and I'll just move that. Can any of you identify this body shell? I bet you can. and look, I've cleaned that up, and we are going to get back to the loco refinishing. I've virtually got everything in place now, so I'm looking forward to doing a few videos about cleaning, spraying, maybe even modifying or repairing body shells, things that are, you know, aged too much to be really collectible. So we give them a new lease of life, maybe with a new livery, or do something interesting with them. So that's all going to be coming up. Now, I did mention a train set, and here's the motive power from it. Now let me just swivel this light out the way, try and give you a better view. Can you see the lovely Hornby Dublo N2? Now I hope I've got it sitting on there okay. Try that. Let's see if it'll run. A little bit noisy, but who cares? These are just wonderful items. I do love Hornby Dublo. It would be great to build a Hornby Dublo layout in the future, but for now I get my Hornby Dublo fix just either watching other people or running the occasional train set. And to finish this video, we are indeed going to be running a set, but let's take a quick look at this loco first. I've just turned that off. I put the little bit of track and the rolling road onto this yellow cloth because it really makes a heck of a noise echoing on this wooden table I've got here. Let me just turn it on its side, disconnect the wire from the pickup, make sure that's all safe. Yeah, look at this. Now this has seen some action, and that's great to see, isn't it? It's been well used. The pickups there have got quite good dents where they've run around the track, and that proves it's been used properly. Look at the play in the connecting rod holes, but it's still working and still giving excellent value as a toy train. I used a fiberglass pen on the wheels just to clean them up, and the pickups. I did take the body off and take the brushes out, clean them all up and put it back together. Now the magnet in this was very weak, so I gave it a blast on the old magnetizer. So we're going to run this. Now what train set did this come out of? Well, let me show you. I'm just going to put it over here and reach for the box. There's nothing like a Hornby Dublo train set. Look at this. EDG17 tank goods train BR, and there's some writing on there that other people have done in the past. But let's just examine it and take a quick look at it before hopefully I get it on the kitchen table and we enjoy a run around. So this picture, I think this has been on the channel a few times, a young person really enjoying their trains. There's I think that's probably a Silver King, Duchess of Montrose, and the little N2. Now these look like glossy ones, so the one in this set is a matte version. Royal Daylight tanker, I love those, so beautiful. I don't think we've got one of those in the set though. So let's lift the lid and just take a quick look at the items we're going to use today. Right, so the lovely tinplate track. Here's the two, look, well, I mean, they're just beautifully made terminals that we can connect the wires to. And just checking they both come undone. Earlier track, how do I know? Well, slightly earlier anyway. There's so many iterations of this track, but this has got the smaller, more oval ended lugs. The later track had much larger connections. Also, there's a few different types of insulator. This is a more hardy sort of Paxlin or Bakelite type insulator. And just giving these little bits of track a quick glance, they seem to be in quite good condition, so I do think it'll all clip together and run quite nicely. So there's enough in here to make an oval because there's a couple of straights underneath each of these sections of curved. The loco sat very nicely in this section, and there's even the original tested sticker, which is lovely to see. So instead of the Royal Daylight, we've got this slightly more modern Esso tank wagon. I think that looks very nice in the silver. We've got a 5-plank wagon there, I believe, and a box van there, and then a guards or a brake van there. So I think it'll assemble into a nice train. Now, I've always wanted a Hornby Dublo layout. At some point, hopefully I might get one, but my main enjoyment from Hornby Dublo consists in running sets, and you will have seen a few hopefully on the channel before. If not, check out some of the historic videos, because both 2-rail and 3-rail, just running a train set is a great way to enjoy this box of goodies. And indeed, I'm going to take it now and just imagine what it must have been like to get it out for the first time, clip it all together and see it perform. So join me in a second when I have this all assembled. Well, there's absolutely no problem for me to get this out in the kitchen, because I've just come along here and there's no one else in the house at all. So for a little while I've got free reign. So the track's set up. I do have one spectator, mind you. Here he is. I'll just show you quickly old Dylan. He's more intent on being asleep, I think, even though it's getting better outside. It was raining earlier and he doesn't really like the rain. And now he's over 15 years old. He is allowed extra naps, but I think he'll be outside, and you can't believe how much energy he still has for an old dog. So hopefully there'll be a bit of running about later. So the track's all up. Dylan and I are about to enjoy a bit of running. Now I will just show you how I got the track a little bit cleaner, because it had tarnished in the box. Now I was looking, I thought a Scotch-Brite pad would be good, and then I remembered I'd got a couple of new scourers under the sink, and the green side is indeed like Scotch-Brite. So I did just go round all of the track and put a little bit of a shine onto the top surface of the rails. I've also used this oiler and given the wagons a little bit of just a small amount of oil on the axles. Now, when I was, and I'm just going to reach down and try and open the box, because when I was setting it up, I noticed underneath where the track lives in the box, the perfect table railway. Well, this took me back to reading about the history of Hornby Dublo, and indeed, that is how it was described in a lot of the publicity at the time. And I suppose moving on from the more traditional O-gauge items, which aren't so easy to put on a smaller table or take up and take down quickly, the advantage of the new system was you could unbox it, set it up and be running in no time, and pack it away for another day. Right, so let's demonstrate the Hornby Dublo perfect table railway. Here we go, bit of power, and away goes that end too. Now, there's nothing quite like the fun of running these items. It's very analog, just controlling them slow, fast, and as the motor heats up or changes, you can adjust the way it's running. So let's just see if I can back it up a bit. Very smooth considering its age. The engineering in these things was undoubtedly very good. So let's just pause it and take a look at the contents again. So let's just get along to here, and we've got that absolutely glorious little matte black N2, the 5-plank wagon. You could put stuff in there. In fact, I wonder if there is anything we could load up into that on the kitchen table. I don't know what this is, some sort of stuff, but I think it'll fit in there. And we've got a nice box fan, tank and guard. So now we've got a load, we're going to move off. See, already I can imagine what it was like receiving one of these items as a young person and just getting a bit of play value out of it. the fact that you're controlling the train. It's not just clockwork and release, you're just driving it in essence. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this short video, seeing some of the upcoming items, and I am indeed looking forward to getting back to making more regular content, sharing with you some things you haven't seen yet, plus one or two of the items that I've picked up over the last few months. And I really am looking forward to getting a little bit of paint onto some of these loco bodies. Well, that's all for future videos. Right now I'm going to leave you with this little set, and as I'm by myself I shall enjoy a few more minutes running. I shall leave the camera on and let you see a little bit more of this end too. So until the next video, I'll now say goodbye.